Hello! Ladies and gentlemen, the World Cup qualifiers in Asia are not even over yet many conclusions have come, including teams that have secured qualification along with the ones who no longer have a chance to progress. What a journey it has been though for all the nations involved in the third round. For those that don't know, many countries, such as India, failed to progress all the way here. We were only left with 3 groups of 6 teams each to battle it out for a World Cup spot. Top 2 qualify, and 3rd and 4th advance to another round to potentially qualify. That 4th round has 2 groups of 3. Whoever gets first in each group gets their World Cup tickets. And 2nd battles out in another round to fight for an intercontinental playoff spot. At the time of this recording, we are 8 match days in, with just 2 more to go. So we'll go over everything that has just happened and what the future holds or could potentially hold for the remaining teams in the AFC. If you want to continue to see more World Cup qualifier content, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you're new. So we begin with Group A, who have Iran at the top and have just secured World Cup qualification. They are undefeated with 20 points total. Although they're safe and booked their tickets to North America, most of the nations still have to battle it out. Big congratulations to Team Melly. I am quite jealous that they no longer have to stress until the World Cup actually begins. It's a really cool squad I have admired since the 2018 World Cup. For me, they were the most entertaining team in that tournament that failed to progress to the knockouts. And then in 2022, they were not as fascinating. In a more doable group, they still failed to prove themselves. We'll see if they can qualify for the World Cup knockouts for the first ever time in the nation's history. It is definitely possible now with the expanded format. Regardless of Iran confirming their destiny, there are still many incredible storylines here. The only one that has absolutely no chance of revival now is North Korea. They're at the bottom with 2 points. Mathematically, they do not even have a chance to secure 4th place in this group. And they're actually the only country amongst all the 3 groups that no longer have a chance to qualify for the World Cup. But Uzbekistan, who are 2nd place here, actually did have the chance to qualify for the 2026 World Cup this last international break. They went head-to-head with Iran and had the lead for most of the match. But all Iran needed to do was tie it up, and they did, with Taremi securing a brace to guide his team to glory. I feel for this nation. I want to see them succeed, as they would have become the first ever debutant for the World Cup 2026 tournament. Their fighting spirit has been admirable as well, with many incredible players such as Faizullayev, Shomurodov, Hushanov just earning that big move to Manchester City. The future is looking so bright for them, and I hope they don't slip, but there is a chance that they will. The UAE is only 4 points behind them and kept themselves in a fighting chance to secure an automatic spot after scoring a goal in the dying seconds in their last match against North Korea. Literally, the 8th minute of stoppage time, they secured a 2-1 victory. That is a huge boost for them, as they will take on Uzbekistan at home in their very next match. And Uzbekistan will not have an easy schedule as a whole on their final 2 match days. After traveling to the UAE, they'll have to take on Qatar on the final match day. That battle on its own will be very interesting, and Uzbekistan are kept off their toes to see if they'll actually qualify for the 2026 World Cup. Their previous manager who guided them to so much success, Katanats, unfortunately had to step down due to battling an illness. So their new manager at the helm, Kapadze, has big shoes to fill, but so far, he's been doing an okay job. I know they had that late heartbreak to Iran, but even under Katanats, they went toe-to-toe with this nation for some time, as they also were in the same previous World Cup qualifier group. In terms of the UAE though, they just sacked their manager, Paulo Bento. Even after their late victory against North Korea, it was not good enough. He previously managed South Korea at the last World Cup, and also his own nation, Portugal, back in the 2014 tournament. A few standout players like Fabio Lima have been crucial under his tenure, so it's a bit of a slap in the face to get sacked when there is still a chance to qualify, but maybe it will pay off. Maybe it's because he has not been selecting Ali Makbout, who is their top goal scorer. So it seems like a crazy decision, but we'll see. Like I said, they'll face Uzbekistan next, and then Kyrgyzstan at home. That might seem like an easy task on paper, but Kyrgyzstan have actually not been easy to deal with. The most recent proof is they got a massive win against Qatar 3-1 in the last break. And although prior picking up some losses, they still picked up 2 goals against both Iran and Uzbekistan while playing at home, finishing 2-3. Kyrgyzstan are still mathematically in the race to secure a 4th round spot. And it's quite fascinating, as this nation have never made it this far in World Cup qualification history, and they truly are having some admirable performances. Their striker Joel Kojo, who actually has Ghanaian descent, has actually racked up a decent tally within his 25 appearances. Overall, this national team have put Qatar in a position where if they win both their games now and Qatar loses both of theirs, Kyrgyzstan will take that 4th round spot. Qatar as a whole have had a really messy campaign for their standards. Previous Asian Cup champions now have more losses than wins in this qualifier round, and even have resulted in some results needing luck, and according to some, help from the refs. For example, in their match against Uzbekistan at home, Lucas Mendes scored a match winner with 12 minutes of added time. But still, it's a shock as they truly have some of the better players in Asia. I mean, Akram Afif is truly a baller within the continent, but lack of structure and management is definitely haunting them. They only just appointed Luis Garcia as their new manager, started off strong against North Korea with the 5-1 victory, but as I mentioned earlier, they struggled to make an impact in the fortress of Kyrgyzstan. They have no chance to directly qualify in this round in particular, just for that 4th round now. They'll have to fight hard for that and also pray that Kyrgyzstan stop being so unexpectedly good. But based on their last World Cup performance when they were the host, do we really want to see this nation qualify for another? I still think they're a cool national team without a doubt, but if Kyrgyzstan pull this off and qualify themselves, that would be legendary. Group B now is very interesting as well. No teams at the time of this recording have confirmed qualification yet. South Korea had the opportunity to do so though in this international break. All they needed to do was get 2 wins this month against Oman and Jordan, but got a 1-1 draw in each fixture. They are still undefeated, but now with 4 wins and 4 draws, they've costed themselves too many opportunities to bag in 3 points and secure World Cup qualification. Actually, this is their 3rd 1-1 draw in a row for these qualifiers. They also got their result against Palestine back in November. And there's no denying that recently, they have been severely lacking creativity. Some injuries could be mentioned like Kang In Lee, but it's still no excuse to pick up a solid 3 points within 1 match in some time. Maybe Son's just carrying the Tottenham energy to the national team. But even a player at his caliber, it just has not been good enough. Yes, they are still in the top position, but if these players were truly playing to their full potential and clicking together, they really would have qualified for the World Cup by now. It begs to question, has their manager, Myung-Bo Hong, really been any better than Klinsmann for the Asian Cup performances? Now, they're only 3 points in front of Jordan and 4 points above Iraq, so there is a chance that they could fall short to the 4th round spot. Jordan have obviously had a really impressive year and are a serious competitor in this, so I am not too surprised that they have been so impressive. But still, I'm applauding them massively. They were Asian Cup finalists, defeating South Korea there. So their recent 1-1 draw was actually not that shocking. The national team was looking incredible during that tournament, but their manager at the time stepped down. And since the arrival of Jamal Salami, some hesitant performances, but still reviving themselves to be at this stage. Going toe-to-toe with Iraq and even the giant South Korea once again. Just like South Korea, they also picked up a bit too many draws, but their only loss so far was to South Korea previously. Iraq are such an interesting case though. Under their Spanish manager Jesus Casas, they continued to play a safe footballing philosophy. So many results finishing either 0-0 or 1-0. With Ayman Hussein randomly stepping up to the plate to secure his nation 3 points, well, this break has been quite a disaster for them. They blew their chance to solidify themselves in an automatic qualification spot. Their first match this international break, they were 2-0 down against Kuwait, and miraculously came back after 2 goals in stoppage time to deny Kuwait their first ever win this round. But then, stoppage time haunted them in their next match against Palestine, conceding in the 97th minute to hand their opposition their first win in this round. This team seemed to have so much drive in a positive direction, only to be blundered with inconsistencies for this safe style of play. They tried to change it up obviously going into this international break, but it did not go in their favor. Now, they trailed a third, and the final international break is going to look like one of the steepest of tasks. They have to face and overcome both the countries who are above them in the standings, South Korea and Jordan. Now, it's possible, of course, but based on this last international break, Iraq should be extremely worried, as this break was supposed to be a safety net to secure them in a more solidified position. What an interesting team though. I mean, their striker Ayman Hussein, despite all the safe type of play the national team has been pursuing with many low scoring affairs, he still has 9 goals in this World Cup qualified campaign. Now, even though Iraq have been heavily disappointed in this last window, we still have to give a lot of credit to the quote-unquote minnows in this group. Like I said, Palestine just registered their first win in this qualifier group, and them and Kuwait still have the chance to pursue for a 4th round spot. Although Kuwait have no wins registered, they still have 5 draws and only 3 losses. They have been giving too many nations nightmares in this group. The only nation that has been able to defeat them head-to-head twice so far is Oman. Oman so far are the only team to have yet to concede a goal to them. From the beginning, I was so focused on it being a 3-way battle between South Korea, Jordan, and Iraq. And although they do have the top 3 right now, Oman are very much in the mix, just trailing with 10 points at that 4th place spot. They're only 2 points behind Iraq. They did lose quite a lot of games, but they picked up 4 points this last international break alone, with a draw against South Korea and a win against Kuwait. To come up in the final match days against Jordan and Palestine, I think they can go into it in the highest of spirits. And what a story that would be, as this team, along with Jordan, have both never qualified for a World Cup before. This group has no reason to be this close, but onto Group C now. Japan are absolutely clean sweeping this group. Holding on to that top spot, they have already secured World Cup qualification. Right now, many argue that this is the best national team in Asia right now, based on their attacking style of play, to the depth this squad possesses. Already undefeated in 8 matches with 6 wins, they went into this qualifier campaign as if they knew they were already going to qualify for the World Cup, and fully embracing the blue lock comparisons. From Ito on Bayern, to Mitoma on Brighton, to Endo on Liverpool, plus so many more great individuality. We've already seen in the last World Cup as well, they topped a group with Spain and Germany, defeating them both. They'll definitely be looking to build momentum though, so they can make an even greater impact in North America next summer. But the rest of the nations are all in a really tight race. Some seem to be more optimistic than others. Australia are now in a more comfortable position. They've at least secured themselves to not be eliminated in this round. After getting 6 points in the last break, one of their results being 5-1 against Indonesia, with Kluivert's first match in charge. Now, Indonesia's saga has been a mess. They appointed Kluivert after already doing wonders with Shin Tae-yong at the helm, and clearly it has not been off to a positive start. Traveling to face Australia away was already a daunting task, but conceding 5 while totally breaking the Indonesia original identity was a mistake. Lacking any sort of defensive structure, playing a more freely attacking type of football, the Socceroos were able to score 5 when a good chunk of their goals were due to simply poor defending. Indonesia sharpened up and defeated Bahrain 1-0 in the next match, which was insanely crucial as it puts them in a safer position compared to the other underdogs in this group. 9 points at 4th place, while China and Bahrain both have 6. Now, getting rid of Shin Tae-yong eventually resulted in the poor AFF Championship results, but it's a bit hard to judge that tournament. There was obviously stuff going on behind the scenes, but on the surface, it was not the correct move. Indonesia are really building a special project, climbing the ranks in FIFA, appointing many players who are eligible to play for the nation. For example, Martin Paes has been an incredible goalkeeper addition, and Hilgers is one of their best defenders on paper. This nation should do everything in their willpower to secure points in their last 2 matches. Their next matches are against China and Japan will not be easy, of course, but maybe they can show more passion in that match in particular, as like I said, Japan have already qualified. Cycling back to Australia, they are in a good position, but their last 2 matches could not be tougher opponents. Japan and Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia will be really hungry to secure a win there, as they're only 3 points behind the Socceroos. But this national team has also been a mess in recent times. They used to be a very difficult nation to travel to away, but now they haven't got many wins at home. Mancini looked to revolutionize his nation, but the Euro champion ultimately failed. Now they brought back the same manager who defeated Argentina in the 2022 World Cup, Hervé Renard. It started off slow for him, but in the last international break, they picked up 4 points against China and Japan. Going into the next one, they'll play Bahrain, and like I mentioned earlier, Australia. Australia has a much better goal difference than them though, so if they do share points by the end, and Saudi Arabia fail to pull off a one-sided immense victory, they will still fall short to the 4th round. Now, were Saudi Arabia that convincing in the last international break despite the results improving? They only just scraped through that 1-0 victory against China, despite their opposition having a red card for half the match. But it also goes to show that China's defensive tactics could allow them to prevail. Branko Ivankovic hopefully is continued to be trusted. They have a doable final break against Indonesia and Bahrain, and those are the only 2 countries that they have been able to get wins against so far. Nothing's impossible for them. They can definitely bounce back. While Bahrain, although they just won the Gulf Cup final, congratulations to them, they just had a miserable international break. They picked up a total of 0 points against Japan and Indonesia. They're playing Saudi Arabia next, who they did sneak off a point against the last time they faced, so they easily can again if Saudi Arabia do not improve their attacking front. Also managed by a Croatian, Dragan Talajic, he's allowed this nation to overall be a real sting to some nations in this qualifier campaign, stirring up the standings for sure, only conceding 6 for 6 points against Japan thus far. How will the final standings though finish for all these groups? Here are my quick predictions for now. Group A, Iran and Uzbekistan automatically qualify, with the UAE and Qatar going to the 4th round. Group B, South Korea and Jordan automatically qualify. Iraq's schedule is too tough, they go to the 4th round with Oman. And in Group C, nothing changes. Japan and Australia automatically qualify. Saudi Arabia falls short to Australia. Them and Indonesia go to the 4th round. Let me know your thoughts though, as always, in the comments. Jude cannot come soon enough, as we'll have so many other nations confirming qualification by then. Now it's only the start. 6 teams have confirmed World Cup qualification, with 42 more to go. Thank you all for making it all the way to the end. Don't forget to hit the like button if you have not already, and subscribe if you're new. Much more World Cup qualifier coverage to come. I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care. La Noche.